Hi, my name's Murphy. This is my channel, Murphy's Every Whim, where I talk about books because I love to talk about books. I also love to teach, and this spring semester of 2024, I'm teaching 2 courses, one of which is a new prep. That means that I'm teaching a course I've never taught before. It's a variation of courses I've taught before, but I've never taught this particular sequence of topics out of this particular textbook. And so that means it's going to take a lot of work to make sure that I'm ready each week to teach. And for that reason, in January, February, and March at least, I will be doing something a little different than usual. Instead of waiting for the end of the month for a monthly wrap-up or to put out more videos than usual, my plan is to just put out a video at the end of each week with the books that I've read that week and what's going on in my reading life. And that's the plan. We'll see what happens. I actually have a lot of videos that I need to publish. So there'll be some other videos as the month goes along, but I'm not going to record that many videos. Okay, that's plenty of an introduction. I am going to talk about what I have finished reading this week and what I am currently reading. So, the books that I have finished, and again, I said that I was going to try to do things differently in terms of how much time I spend creating videos, but I'll also, for January at least, I'm just reading whatever tickles my fancy at that time, because I don't want to feel like I have to read anything in particular. And so, this is what has tickled my fancy. I read Lee and Andrew Child's No Plan B, and that's one of the Jack Reacher books. I've been watching the Jack Reacher series off of Amazon Prime with HWC, and that made me think maybe I should read a couple of books. I hadn't read them before. Also, I think my sister said that she had listened to, I think she and her husband have listened to all the Jack Reacher books. They spend a lot of time driving, and so they spend a lot of time in the car listening to books. And so No Plan B was the one I read, and I'm currently in the middle of, I've read about 37% of Better Off Dead, which is another Reacher story, and in fact, I think it's the one that might follow. Well, anyway, I don't know what order they come in. That's No Plan B I finished, and Better Off Dead I'm 39% of the way through. I read some Philip K. Dick stories. I read We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, which is the story that the movie Total Recall was based on. Minority Report, which is the story that movie Minority Report was based on. The Eyes Have It, which is a fun, short little story about play on words. And then Paycheck. And there was a movie made of Paycheck. It didn't do so well. I'm thinking about watching it because I like to see why things don't do well. But of those, I liked Minority Report, but I also liked Paycheck. I liked Paycheck a lot. And I think it's sad that the movie didn't do well. One of the books I read is this book called Collage Art. It's collage art, a step-by-step guide and showcase, and it's by Jennifer Atkinson. And I got this at a used bookstore recently. And I've brought this up before, that how do I know whether this book was useful to me or not? You know, I actually spent a lot on this book. This book cost me like $9. It was a very expensive used bookstore. How do I know it's useful or not? Well, I have completely read this book, which is unusual for an art book for me, to completely read it instead of just perusing it and then diving into it whenever I need to. But this has 4 methods of collage, 2 of which I didn't know about. And so I've actually learned something. So this has 4 methods of collage. For each method, there are 2 artists, and they go through the step-by-step process of making one particular piece. Found this very useful, and when I have chance again to spend time in my studio, I will try to use a couple of these techniques in my art. Anyway, so what am I currently reading besides the Better Off Dead book by Lee and Andrew Child? I'm reading a book, The Nazi Conspiracy, The Plot to Assassinate Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin. And I'm 72% of the way through this. And this is a nonfiction book about the conference in Tehran, Iran, and what led up to that, and the plot to assassinate the big 3 as they have a conference about how they're going to approach the rest of World War II. And then I'm about 90% of the way through Matthew Perry's autobiography, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. This was recommended to me by a friend of mine that I visited in November, and he said it was a good book, and I agree. I'm listening to it, and it's narrated by Matthew Perry, and it's a powerful book. It reminds me of Dry by Augusten Burroughs. That's also about his trials with alcoholism. And because I was raised by one alcoholic, this illness is something that I'm always trying to understand better. And I believe Matthew Perry's autobiography is a really good source for that. And those are the things that I've read, things I am reading, and I don't plan to have a reading list for January, so just whatever I'm reading. Anyway, that's my reading story for this week, the first week in January 2024. I'll see you again soon. Take care.